Hi there, this is Cooper from Telepathic Bunny Comics. I'm here with your friendly neighborhood Odin.
Yes, you are.
Mr.
Yeah,
Yep. All right.
it's
Anyway, yeah. Well, I sometimes I get it right, but
yeah.
like,
50-50 chance.
there you go. That's the
I'd say
guy.
50-50 chance, 80% of the time wrong, but that's
Right, right. Well, Mr. Shadowpunk has evidently been here since yesterday. There you go.
okay.
So
That's
of course he's
punctuality
first.
there.
There you go. There you go. And he looks like Punisher in that photo. Tim Bradstreet Punisher. So yeah.
Well, thank
Yep.
you, I believe.
And Aaron, hey Jordan, Aaron, hey brothers, what's up, dude?
Good to see you, Aaron.
Aaron has not been around a lot lately. He's been writing
Busy.
stuff and just busy.
Well, you go into that shell where you're like, I'm either in a flow and you don't want to break it, or you just don't have time to really be social, and then other times you're like, hey, you're everywhere. And then people are gone.
We have a legend here of Bo Biggs.
Yes.
Dude.
One of my favorite chatters, if not my favorite. I appreciate you, Mo.
Yeah.
It keeps the levity, which I love.
Yeah, he does do that. Let me make sure I give him I'm trying to give him a wrench over here, but it's not letting me get down to him for some reason. Hold on.
Fair wench.
He's not showing up over here. I wonder. Well, all right, no big deal. I'll look a little bit. Yeah. Hell T Bunny, hell Odin. What's up, dude? Yeah, I'll get you a wrench as soon as you.
He says he's got one already.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, that's good. Yeah, I wasn't sure you've been here enough to get a wrench yet.
That guy's like a mechanic. He has a lot of wrenches. or a plumber.
Well, I don't know. He certainly gets around, man. I wasn't sure he'd ever been on my channel before. I think he was here like my 100th episode or something like that.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Anyway, this show is called The Right Stuff because we like to talk to our writers who and ascertained, if they have the right stuff. So it's not really that.
Doesn't just sound a thumbs up or thumbs down kind of deal.
Like, no. It's just basically nuts and bolts conversation. We'll find out, just how you make your donuts. Basically. Anyway, doesn't sound. I guess that that doesn't sound too intrusive, does it? Anyway,
too intrusive. Well. Yeah, as long as it's not a euphemism, it's not intrusive.
Hey, guys, just dropping by to hit the like button.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you, 80s Made.
Well, I think a lot of these guys might be itching for the Saturday night show later with 80s Made. Well,
yeah.
The crazy always goes with these guys. Love you, brothers.
Well, sorry, guys, I'm not as free-willing as that show is. It's late enough that you can get away with a lot more.
That's true.
So
we do that on purpose, but yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, I had James on here a couple times, and he's actually behaved himself on my show. So.
Yeah. Well, we joke about that, how he can behave himself when he wants to, but
yeah,
the later the evening goes, the less. I mean, it's kind of like a werewolf or something.
Yeah, the moon comes up, and yeah.
What's up, fellas?
Hey, dogs. What's up, dude? Hey,
what's up,
Replicant. What's up, dude? Yep. Sign up for Unconditional Shove. Already started. Hey, thank you, Mo.
Thank you, Mo.
Yeah. By the way, if you are on another channel and you don't know the home channel of this one, I've got the link pinned up there. And if you want to find out where Unconditional Shove or all the rest of Odin's links, they will be in the description on that channel. So there you go.
There you go. You're all over it. I appreciate that, man.
Trying to be. Anyway. Yeah, I tried to keep the drama to a minimum on my show.
Well, That's good.
I'm not much of ringmaster as a 80s mate is. He just
Well, he just throws caution to the wind, and I think
there's trapeze.
He talks about not caring, and he really does. But it makes for a fun show. I'll tell you that much.
It makes for
there's nuts and bolts to the creator stuff, that we don't talk about as much on there, and there's reason for that. We're just having fun. So.
Well, I mean, Jay Bot's able to hang out on your show, and he finds mine offensive, so tells you all you want to know about that. Anyway,
it still cracks me up. Yeah.
Well, he started it, so well, it is what it is. I'm not going to get along with everybody. I understand that.
That's really true.
Gays, I think 80s hit the wrong button. Favorite button. Oh. Yeah, Shadowpunk simping a little bit. That's good. Anyway, so basically, it's a little odd, when I have most of the time I have writers on, but to have a writer artist on is I don't do that as often. So
it's a little rarer for sure.
Yeah. So, do you create as an artist writing or as a writer who draws?
Well, I don't personally have a distinction of one of more importance.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can write without drawing. That's just prose.
Yeah.
Or you can draw without writing, and that's just an image. The great thing about comic books is you bring those two things together.
Yeah.
And I've enjoyed doing both my entire life. So naturally, and then it's similar to me anyway. When I was a singer, I haven't talked about this, but like when I was a singer, I wrote all my lyrics, and there was other guys in the band that'd be like, "Can you sing these lyrics?" I'm like, no, I don't think I can. Like physically I could,
right,
but I couldn't on the same token.
Right.
And so I kind of feel that way. I know I could draw somebody else's story.
Yeah.
Preferably though, I want to draw my own stories.
Oh, I hear you.
For the reason of I enjoy doing both. I love doing both. So yeah, if you're able to, I think a lot of people want to be able to. May not, I hear from writers, I wish I could draw. And then I hear from artists, I think I can write when maybe they shouldn't be, So you can see both sides of that coin. And, the proof is always in the pudding. So if people enjoy it, that's really my end result. Is it entertaining people? Do you enjoy it? Then we hit the mark, So.
Oh, exactly. Hold on. This clears it up. I thought it was weird because I couldn't see anyone else commenting. Turns out I was on a simulcast on Justin Belmont's channel. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have a wrench here. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, okay. Let me
get that man a wrench.
Yes, definitely add a moderator. There you are.
We cannot fix all the leaks in the plumbing on this channel. You can do it on Belmont's.
Yeah, we have fixed. We have definitely fixed that problem. Definitely.
Mo, you're good.
Speaking of legends, Luke Stone. What's up, dude?
It's good to see you, Luke.
And thanks, D Bunny. Yep, man. Yeah.
And speaking of someone who could do both, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and do it very well. Well. But I think it's interesting with Luke. He has he kind of has a guy that does his layouts for him, and then he draws over top of the layouts, and so in a way he does have like that separation between writer and artist. But
and I wonder if a lot of that is time management for him. He's a really busy guy. He's got
it's a real busy
hands
guy,
in a lot of projects. Guy. So like and I've heard of people doing that now. Especially there are economically sourced options around the world for that kind of work.
Definitely.
I could get somebody to pretty much do the hard work and then just go over it and make it good.
Right.
Or make it theirs.
It's time management. Yeah, that's definitely busy guy. Ice Queen has showed up. Hey,
what's up, Ice Queen? Good to see you.
Good to see you. The trifecta of streaming is upon us. Yeah, there you go. Yep. But well, when it comes to that I see people making a lot of the distinction, that in some ways that writing is lesser than the art in comic books because art it keeps getting pushed that it's a visual medium, but it really is a hybrid.
It's a hybrid.
It's a pure hybrid,
Well, and I will say from a fan perspective, it's a spectrum.
Right.
Some people will definitely lean heavily towards art, and some people will lean heavily towards story. The thing is, if you're a comic book fan, you like both, but you're going to lean one way or the other. I think generally artists are going to lean artist heavy. Writers are going to lean writer heavy. And people who don't create, they'll find themselves in that spectrum somewhere. But the fact that it is a hybrid, you're going to be somewhere on that spectrum. So there are books that are definitely more for one or the other. And then the gold is when they meet in the middle and everybody's happy,
the ones that everybody remembers, the ones that get passed around, the ones that get like,
well, we kind of shit on the big two nowadays, for rightful reasons, but as you look back at some of the past pair-ups, especially I think in the like 70s and 80s, I think it's kind of you had some amazing writing with some amazing art. I mean, it was just pure gold. Like I said, you hit on both cylinders, and which is a car pun. Cylinders earlier, but no, that's the glorious place you want to get with comic books. Because if you're lacking on one or the other, again, you're going to appeal to some, but you might not appeal to everybody. So.
Oh, definitely. Hold on one second. Mo says Lucas triple threat. He can write, he can draw, he can take off his Boy George hat and make himself presentable.
Oh man.
Hell, everyone on the phone, so can't tag everyone as fast. Okay, and you can do everything yourself, but it's important to get some extra eyes and creative blood in it. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. I think James and you have definitely found a collaboration that's definitely been kismet. I've seen you guys sparking off of each other. He's really excited about Shove, and you're real excited about being part of Broken Compass. So,
Yeah, that was a great thing. Well, even before the collaboration happened, we realized that we spoke the same language just in general, like hanging out on the 80s stream and stuff. And after that, he kind of realized, because I was pushing the date out for Shove.
Yeah,
because I was like, I'm going to be doing everything. And then I really wanted to have everything done art-wise and everything ready before I jumped into like, well, how do I set up a campaign? How do I hire a colorist? All these things. Like, I'll get those things, but I'm not good at multitasking. So I wanted to know everything else was done. Right. And so I was pushing this date out, pushing it out. And he was like very helpful with some connections and also experience and definitely some experience writing.
Right.
So he's lettering the book, and that puts him in a position of being a first editor as well. So, I'm really excited about that, and the creativity matches.
Right. Well, his lettering's amazing. When I saw Magnificent Bastards, and it was like, I learned to letter because I wanted the full control over the dialogue, and that way, if I could rewrite it on the spot if it didn't fit, And I thought, well, that's brilliant, but I just don't have time to learn, all the intricacies of lettering, which is a lot harder.
Oh, you went silent on me. I can't hear you. Is it me or is it you? Chat, let us know. If you can hear me, put a 1. If you can hear T-Bunny, put a 2. Oh, you're muted, T-Bunny. Hey, you're back.
There we go. Oh, sorry.
I don't know what happened, but you just.
It just, It just muted. It just, the browser lost contact there. Weird.
You ever have those nightmares where you like lose a sense?
Yeah.
I thought maybe I just went deaf for a sec.
I don't know. That's odd. There's a reason why I'm doing the physical connection, because my Bluetooth keeps dropping out. I think my laptop's trying to dunk on me. which is
well, back to the lettering thing, though. That was where I was going to go. I was going to try to learn it, but I think what you're getting at is it's a skill like anything else, and it's not as easy as it looks from the outside. You know.
All right. Yeah. I know that like Eric Weathers is like lettering pretty much every dang body.
Yeah, he's kind of the name.
Yeah, but I mean, I've definitely seen some people like I think Cal too of Shinobi Sasquatch fame. Oh, okay. He does some amazing lettering. So I mean, there's other people out there, but it's a skill that like if you can learn it, you know, I think it's like anything. You can like pick up the basics pretty quickly, but it's all the nuances that like differentiate you, you know.
Well, and I know in the digital age, it's become easier, obviously.
Yeah, cut and paste.
Before it was almost like a trade, you know. I mean, it was a trade,
right?
You know,
right.
I come from an engineering background, and we had to do basically it was almost like comic book lettering, engineering lettering, except for it just isn't stylized. It's very standard, but it's all caps. You know, but so I thought, well, I think I picked that up. I think I could pick this up, but that was just hand lettering, and I'm going, well, you know, nobody does that anymore in the time it takes.
Well, I don't know. I mean, people do those draw pads. I guess you could still do hand lettering if you wanted to.
Yeah, in theory.
But I don't know if everybody has. I don't think everybody has like penmanship like that. You know.
Yeah. Well, and even if they did, there's time.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And then you're paying for that skill, whereas now probably not as expensive. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think Eric said he could letter a comic like in 2 days or something like that. But I don't know.
That's impressive. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it sounds impressive. Maybe that's normal.
Well, he's got a lot. He said he has a lot, like a lot of his tools like laid out. You know, like he's got a lot of like shortcuts that he's got already laid out. Sure. Luke is actually a really good letterer. Has actually done work for the Big Two. Been lettering for years. It's much an art as anything else. Yep. Confirmed. I had a lettering class in art school. We used to draw each letter. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But Big said, I learned lettering in kindergarten. Yeah, Mo, not exactly what we're talking about, but good for you.
Well, the idea is the same, though. It's repetition.
Right.
When you're first learning it as a kindergartner, you're learning the strokes, and you know, they're trying to get you within a lettering pattern and size, and relative to all the others. You know, your capitals this size. So there is nuance to it that you learn in kindergarten. So the idea remains the same. So even though Mo's being a smart ass as he loves to do, which I love when he does, but the point still remains that it's not that much different. It's just harder when you're an adult, you know, like harder to learn.
Right. It's printing it off and rescanning it. That's what he says. A bunch of stuff. I can letter a book in a couple of days. Yeah. That's I guess you could take like multiple books on and like you know, do like, I guess that's why the page rate's a little bit lower, but you can take multiple books on in a week and make a pretty decent living at it.
Yeah. Well, when not everyone knows how to do it and you're the guy. Yeah, you can have steady work and probably do pretty well if you're fast at it. So.
Oh, definitely. But I mean, everything's you know, everything's a little bit of an art. You know, you got people that can do a lot of the same things, but the guys that like really reach the next level are the ones that like specialize in one area. You know,
sure.
Like I had, when I went to go get my logo, I went and got Xevious to do my logo for me, and I, you know, there's like logos that are basically like fonts that are blown up. You know.
Sure.
And then there's hand lettered or hand created logos, which is what he does, and you can always tell the difference. You know, like we were looking at through logos, and like Spawn's logo is looks like Jim Lee did it, because Jim Lee's logos are very distinctive. And he may have, because you know they're all in image in that one pot at one point. You know,
I think I would have heard that though. All the
Jim Lee would probably say, "Oh yeah, that's mine right there."
Yeah,
you know?
I'm sure Todd would have given him credit too. Even
Right. But it's a really great logo. I mean, it's very distinctive. But
yeah, Spawn's very iconic.
Yeah, with the little skull in the middle. Yeah,
sparks it off. But the actual shape of the letters is fun.
Yeah. When it comes to Unconditional Shove, that's a very distinctive name there. It's very almost it's like a double entendre or something. It's a little
double entendre. I don't know about that.
Like it has like multiple meanings. I mean, it's
yes, it could. So the main thing is it's just a pun.
Okay.
Unconditional love, unconditional shove.
Right.
Yeah, that started as a song I wrote.
Mm-hmm.
And then back in the early 2000s was doing a blog, and that was
right.
the name of it. So it just kind of stuck with me, and I've always loved it. So I'm like, I'm just going to stick with that.
Right.
And coming up with an anthology, I thought, the title has to be somewhat relatively vague as opposed to a character's name or something,
Right. Well, I mean, mine's a community service, and that could mean a lot of things.
Yeah.
But it's a
double entendre, isn't it?
Yeah. It's well, yeah, definitely. It's got multiple levels to it. Definitely multiple levels. Mo is still pushing Comic Blast, evidently. And I could let her book in moments if CCP wouldn't hold up the release of Comics Blast. You know what Comics Blast is, right? Somebody put out software that would allow you to create a comic book.
Yeah,
and publish a comic book. Mo's been a big proponent of that ever since it came out. So.
Well, I'm waiting for your book, Mo.
But there you go. Anyway, lettered under a brokerage and credited work for the big guys. So, yeah, he was another ghost individual.
Ghost letterer.
Yeah, Mo gets it.
As he typically does.
Have an AI do your logo. LOL. Yeah. Mo's like subscribing to Luke's channel. Yep. Yeah. You compliment Mo, he'll push your channel for you.
Well, that's one thing. Somebody was talking shit about him for always being kind of a troll in the chat, and I'm like, no, he's awesome. You know what? Even when he like gives somebody hell for an hour, he's dropping their links and stuff. And it's just Mo. And
I can't imagine who would have a problem with him ragging him. It's almost like a badge of honor.
It is. Well, at this point, it's we snowball off Mo and some of the other guys that show up on 80's show as much as the panel. So the chat's just as important there.
Yeah, if Sugar Chris and Mo are in the same chat, you guys struck gold. I mean,
well, you have a whole other world going on.
They usually have their own drama. It's almost like it's like a writing in. Let's see. How did Odin get into comics? How did he go from music to artwork? That's a good question. Yeah,
that's a real question. Yeah. Well, I've been into comics longer than I've been. I mean, I've always been into music. Always more or less been into comics, but my interest and love for comics, and even like the idea of making comics, predates anything to do with music.
Oh, okay.
So, elementary, middle school is kind of my first introduction, like most people, to comics, and then I got really, really into them because it was right around the height of all the big name artists that left to form Image, and then the boom of Image, which made the whole world into comics for a little while.
All right. Normies were like, oh, comics. Oh,
yeah, but they were like, these are going to be worth a lot. I'm like, they printed 1 million of it. It's not going to be worth anything.
No. They're using them for firewood at one point,
Yeah, and I mean, I still have multiple number ones of almost every one of those, and several other issues. But then music was more in high school. I got really into metal music and kind of the hardcore scene and stuff, and ended up thinking maybe I could sing. People started telling me I could. I never really sang before, and then even though most of it was like screaming and shouting and stuff, but that was a lot of fun. And it's fun performing. It's fun writing music, writing lyrics, all of it.
Yeah.
And as I got older, especially after I got married and had kids and all this other stuff, as you do, as intense as that creative pursuit was, like there was hardly time to. The only artwork I was doing was for band related stuff, you know, like posters and CD liner art and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the idea of writing and creating a comic book was always there in the back of my mind, but bands were, especially the last one was a really good trajectory. But once I turned over that leaf and just basically said, I'm done being in working bands. It's fun. It's too much of a strain on who I wanted to be as a dad, etc.
Right.
And also I didn't want to be an old guy, like trying to be a rock star. So I went, well, you know, comic books isn't like that, where you're not going to be the old guy trying to be a rock star. You know?
Right.
Not as much of a young man's game. So I was like, this is something I've always wanted to do, but music just always was there. And
in comics, the rock stars are old men most of the time.
Yeah, well, what's the whole thing? I think it was Joe Quesada would say, like, draw 1,000 pages before, you know, and I'm not near that, but like,
right.
Yeah, you kind of have to like earn your stripes a little differently. Rock stars, you kind of just break through, and a lot of the best stuff is your early stuff. I mean, you can look at almost any rock artist, their best stuff was when they were raw, and then once they got older and rich, they kind of lost it.
Oasis, anyway.
Oasis. Well, I guess almost every band, to be quite honest. The first albums have that raw spark, and then success hits them, and they try, and they still have some good albums, but it's never quite the same. So. Right. But that's the transition.
It's kind of funny because Noel Gallagher at one point was putting out so many really awesome songs that he thought the master plan was a B-side. And he said years later, he's like, man, I regret not putting that out as a single. You know, I put it on the B-side because I'm like, screw it, just put this song on the B-side. You know, everybody's like, are you sure this is a really good song? And he's like, I got plenty of them. You know, he says, now that, you know, my output is kind of, you know, slowed down quite a bit, I regret not making it a single. And it's like, yeah, you should regret making that a single.
I mean, they were pretty big anyway, but
yeah, at that time they were the things do slow down like that.
And hello, Eric Grant and Octagon. Sorry.
Yeah, dude. What's up, dude? Why would people talk about shit about Mo? That's weird.
That was weird.
Well, he does rub people the wrong way sometimes. What's up, Mo? There's a
He rubs me the right way.
Yeah, he rubs.
No double entendre.
No. He rubs Odin the right way. There you go. Odin's rendition of "I Started the Joke" was a real tearjerker, but the suffering eventually ended. Wow. I felt that burn from North Carolina.
I'm so glad he was there to hear it.
What comic book artist inspired your style? That's a good question.
Oh man, that's a very deep one, but yeah, like because there's so many.
Right.
I think early on it was again all the Image guys. Like I really tried to emulate like Jim Lee and with Scott Williams inking.
Right.
I wanted really clean. I thought that's how comics should look, you know. And then Todd McFarlane was obviously a huge influence, especially as far as the storytelling and how the excitement never wanes, but you still move the story really well. Keown, I mean, the Pick comic was my favorite because I grew up a Conan fan, and I was also a Hulk fan, and he basically like had a character that looked like a mixture of the two. So I love that. And then later I kind of fell for like a little more sketchy, basically stylized art of Simon Bisley, Jay Lee,
Sienkiewicz,
like those guys that it was like controlled chaos. Like the image was great, but you're like, oh, they, all their line work's like bleeding outside the shape of the figure,
right,
but it looked cool that way, and that was almost on purpose. Maybe not particularly on purpose, but they didn't worry about the cleanliness. So coming from that, like, oh, I should ink like Scott Williams and make it look perfect, and this interesting rendering style to looking at Lobo #1 with Simon Bisley and just going like, man, it's all over the place, but the imagery is badass. The story still moves along. Like that's really the thing. As long as you don't lose the flow of the story, and it still looks badass. Like that's good. That's good. It doesn't have to be. So
Yeah, you don't have to go Alex Ross. You can be a little sloppier, you know.
Well, and then later I just started rediscovering a lot of older artists, especially as I got into like the EC era stuff, like Wally Wood and Graham Ingalls.
Wally Wood is not a bad person to emulate.
No, he's
he literally wrote the book.
He wrote the book. Yeah,
he literally wrote the book.
That always work. It's one of my favorite things. Yep. But yeah, and then some of the old, you know, John Buscema is one of my favorites, especially his work on Savage Sword. I just love.
Okay.
Wrights and all of the studio guys were amazing. Right. Wrights, I think, was definitely the best. So yeah, a big list of you know, and I always hate to say like you know, their influences, but inspiration is actually a better way to put it.
Right.
Because people go, I don't see that in your artwork. I'm like, well, I'm not trying to be a carbon copy of somebody. You know?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, you know, especially like in writing, you know, if somebody can detect somebody else's writing in your writing, then you're not a writer, you're fan fiction, you know. I mean,
no, that's failure. Like, well, and I think that's true with art. I think just in creation in general, obviously things are going to be derivative, and you're going to find all your influences coming out, you know. But the goal is that it's a unique conglomeration of all your influences, you know, that is indetectable. Yeah.
Right. Well, Mo Big says, I always feel like a missed opportunity when anyone brings up Joe Quesada and Vinny's not around to hear it. I think it's mean Vinny Tardamella. Yeah, he's a big Joe Quesada. I made it. Just woke up, but I made it. Damn time zones. I shake my fist with impotent rage. All right, here.
Well, you're upside down, so we'll give you a pass.
Yeah, there you go. Sorry, man. That's how dudes do each other.
That's how dudes do.
Wondering when else going to pop up. Batman Judge Dredd was a jaw dropper. Yeah, I agree.
Oh yeah, that's one of my favorite books of all time.
What's up, Commie Mark?
Hey, Commie Mark, good to see you.
What's up, dude? Hello, Broken Compass. Oh, James is in the building. Okay.
James made it.
Hell, spam.
You,
do I have spam? I'll kill it if I got spam.
I think it's just because he hailed everybody in separate.
Oh, okay. All right. Hell, James and Mark. All right. Yeah.
That's the spam we like, though.
That's actually, I'm actually simulcasting. So if you see other ones, that's probably from other simulcasts. So
right.
There you go. Anyway, I think it's very interesting conversation. You know, how much should be like have other people's works like show up in yours, you know. I mean, I've definitely taken a lot of things over the years from like other writers that I've been inspired by. You know, some tricks or something like you know, you'll take maybe some of your dialogue ability from you know, somebody like Elmore Leonard, or you know, or you take your some of your plot you know, contrivances from like, you know, somebody like Robert R. McCammon. But in the end, if you don't have like you don't develop something like strictly that's purely your own. And I think a lot of that, like early, you know, what Quesada said about writing all those pages,
1,000 pages,
1,000 pages, you know, I think that's part of it, working all your influences into a cohesive you know, put yourself in there and like coming up with something that's purely you.
Yeah.
But, you know, maybe boil out all the influences until, and that takes a long time, which is one of the reasons why when I keep hearing people say anybody can write, and yes, anybody can write given time and given dedication to it, and get dedication to the art.
Anybody can write. It's the question of whether it's good. And I'll always say, you know, if you throw it out there, if you think it's good enough to throw out there, then the proof's in the pudding, you know, like, and again, like the point being, if your goal is to entertain, you know, if people keep coming back, then you did it, you know.
Right.
Because there are phenoms, there are people who just pick things up, you know, and without the 1,000 hours almost, or 1,000 pages, or whatever measure, you know, that you have to hit to kind of hit your stride. Some people just hit it pretty instantly. but there's still a bit of constantly doing it that will definitely that's definitely where you make your own style, make your own.
Do you remember the thing that you drew or wrote and for the first time you saw yourself and you realized this is who I am?
Oh. Well, I can think of two moments, one for art, one for writing. So for art, it was really young. Okay. It's one of the first Christmas memories. And again, this isn't something I did. I don't remember what I was drawing at the time. I was like first Christmas I can remember. I had a big present for my parents and it was just loaded with art supplies. And I mean, wow, this is really cool. And it wasn't like an art kit that you could like Hobby Lobby with it was like all bought separate and just one giant box. And I was like, this is great, and I'm like, but why did you give me this? And I must have, it's the impact of a young mind. They said, you're an artist. Everything you've been drawing, you're an artist. They just kept saying that you're an artist. And this is like 3 or 4, and I'm like, I'm an artist. Okay. And that never looked back. And then always through school, it was like, you had the kid who could draw the best in the class. That was always me. And if there was another kid, then it became really competitive. I'm like, no, fuck you. I can draw better than you. So that always pushed me. For writing, though, so that was always connected. I would draw comic books at a young age, but won a short story contest in high school. And that was kind of like the moment where I'm like, okay, there might be something there, similar to people like, yeah, you can sing. And then you go, well, if you get that little bit of momentum of confidence and then you start snowballing with it, start writing more, you start drawing more, you start singing more, whatever it is. Yeah. So that was kind of the big one. That one happened later in life, but I was writing all the way before that, but nobody really read it with a critical eye before that. So.
Right. Yeah, I hear you. I'm going to skip the Pope Batman stuff because I'm not really seeing the relevance there. So
I have no idea what that is.
I don't know what that is. Anyway, yeah, check it out. Okay. So Comic Mark says, all my favorite writers from outside comics. Voltaire is my biggest influence. He was fearless. Voltaire. Yeah, he was also extremely mixed up in the politics of the day. So in other words, he could a lot of the stuff probably got him killed. So let's
and I think that's real good writers are prophetic in a sense almost. If they're hitting on current events, I guess.
Yeah, we're still like bumping into stuff like 1982, stuff like that, Yeah. That the people wrote back then, like Kurt Vonnegut wrote some stuff that is popping up now, and it's just like, geez Louise, man, how much do these people know,
Right.
Well, projecting onto the future, it's amazing. Phil Keg Dick calls a lot of what's going on right now. Called a lot of it. And let me see. Mo Big says the first time Odin saw himself in his writing was when he handed the teacher his book report of Life Goes On. So he told him book reports are for books, not TV shows. Yeah. There you go.
Well, I put on a leather jacket and started dancing for her after that, and she never questioned my motives.
Nah, there you go. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Anyway.
you know the reference.
I know the reference. Whenever I see an American map with the world the wrong way around, it makes me feel nauseous.
It's the wrong way around. I should flip it upside down.
There you go. Why is the Far East to the west of the USA?
Well, there's this thing called a mirror effect.
Yes. That tends to happen sometimes. Anyway, because in the West we read from right to left to right, and we want to focus on the more important things close first. Yep, there you go. Heck, Mark Twain is still relevant. Yeah, Mark Twain is extremely relevant. Australia maps are worse.
Well, Mark Twain is relevant. There was a joke that Norm Macdonald had about Huck Finn.
Yeah,
he said, well, they're reading the classics in class, but a young black student or something, they want to hear the N-word from their fellow students reading aloud or something.
Right.
You get a bit of like cracking up and jokes or something. So he said, I know how to fix it. He said, you just make Mark Twain not Mark Twain. You make Huck Finn a black kid.
Right.
Yeah,
You know,
that's a
they
good
can
fix,
they can
man.
say that word in impunitive.
Yeah. Then it becomes like a term of endearment.
There you go. Yeah. He calls Jim that. You know. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Hey, that does fix it. Wow.
It totally fixes it. Like easy. We keep the classics with just one. You don't want to change Mark Twain, but rather than throw it out and not read it in class,
I will stand on this to the dying day that Norm McDonald's was our generation's Mark Twain.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's no doubt he is by far my favorite comedian. Everyone who knows me knows it. Like, do you ever shut up about the guy? But definitely my favorite, not just comedian, but funny person and mind. Like the way his mind worked.
I watched this eulogy where some people sat around, like Dave Chappelle and David Letterman and some other people were talking about him, and they just talked with him and just some like a reverence, you know.
Yeah.
And Dave Chappelle said something really touched me. He said his father died, and he was really struggling with it. And Norm Macdonald took him on the road, and he says never mentioned his father once, but he would do things like he would sit down beside of me and like talk to me about something entirely different, you know, when he saw that I was getting morose. Sure. And he said, never mentioned my father once, but he said he helped me more than anybody else that I was dealing with at that time. And just because he was instinctually, you know, he's like, men don't talk about this stuff, but
right. How do you console another man, you know, when we don't want to do that and we don't want another man to do that? You know, like, how are you there for somebody? No, he was instinctual. That's why he was such a good comedian. Timing. Yeah. He knew when people, and he was also punk rock. He knew when to push buttons. So he kind of liked the bad reactions as much as the good.
Oh, man, did he push buttons? So
it was glorious. Yeah, he was great.
His stand on The View is one of my all-time favorites. Things I've ever seen in my life.
Are you talking about Bill Clinton murdering people?
Yeah, it's like, yeah, he murdered people.
You didn't know that he murdered people?
You didn't know he murdered people? Barbara Waters is like, you know.
Yeah, she's like, do you ever shut up? He's like, I thought that was common knowledge.
I thought that was common knowledge, yeah. Oh, love it. Anyway,
awesome.
But it's just brilliant. They say his autobiography is basically him just bullshitting the whole entire way. You don't really learn anything about him.
It's fiction. It's like like what he wished his autobiography would be. It's called his memoirs, but it's actually fiction.
He actually for the audiobook he read it.
So, yeah.
I want to get a hold of that.
He definitely would read it in his voice anyway.
But, Right. Anyway, let me see here. Say Mark Twain was way ahead of his time. He was never afraid to call a spade a spade. Nope. Yep. No, it was not. If you don't read the papers, you're uninformed. If you do, you're misinformed.
Well,
another black pill moment from Shadow Punk. There you go. Was that a reference to Jim? Not sure what that meant. Actually, that is a quote from Mark Twain. That's right. That is Shadow Punk. That was a quote from Mark Twain. Yeah,
that's what I was just thinking. It sounds like one of his idioms. Yeah.
Yeah, the rules don't apply for all black people, but for me, I don't care as long as it's in reference. Some people let those words reach their soul. All right, let me hand in my card. You don't have a card anymore. You gave it up a long time ago, man.
He gave up his card? Wow.
Yeah, he gave it. They took it from him, man. So you don't have his card anymore. All right, good stuff. What's up, good stuff?
Yeah.
And
good to see good stuff.
All right. My biggest, just in general, he kept things and never glossed over anything. Right. We're going to have a special treat for Genesis Crew on our review of Smokes the Fox. Yeah.
Ooh, nice.
That's nice. Yeah. You're on that advertisement there, so that's
I know,
cool.
Which is so awesome to see. Yeah, no, I'll be getting my book eventually. I mean, I ordered late, but
right.
They did a good initial review on it on Comics or on Good Stuff's channel.
It's actually a really good. I was very impressed with it. I need to get my
quality.
I mean, it's you got Mike Barron and you got and all these other guys from Valiant, because he was a big Valiant fan.
Bob Layton.
And so he definitely paid for it. It paid for the quality he got out of it.
Well, and the name recognition is huge, but definitely the quality,
Right.
Yeah, Tim Vigil do one of the covers. I was like, damn, that's an icon to me.
Oh,
as
definitely.
Baron, so
definitely. Yeah, and that Weaponized Werewolf's just amazing cover. It's just incredible.
Yeah.
Just jumps out at you, literally, because he's like,
yeah. Well, that's a werewolf cover. Shit.
Well, he's like ripping somebody's entrails out and splattering them across the.
It was very classic Vigil, extra intense.
Right.
Never lacking gore. I love it.
Call me Mark. My favorite Mark Twain quote is, "I do not fear death. I had been dead for billions and billions of years before I was born, and I not suffered the slightest inconvenience from it."
So you jumped over octagons. I could answer that.
Well, my favorite Mark Twain quote is, he was one of his biggest critics died, and somebody asked him what he thought about it, and he says, "Well, nothing so became him in life as his leaving of it."
Pretty good.
That takes you a second, but
yeah, it's just a slow burn for sure. You have to kind of mold it.
Nothing so became him in life as his leaving of it.
Well, I used to read a lot of theology, and there was Karl Barth. I don't know if you've ever read any of his stuff. Pretty much every sentence he writes, you have to go, wait, what? You have to like unscramble it and put the words in different order for it to sound like English. So I don't know if he did that to be more profound, like Yoda or something.
Yeah.
But it works because you have to read it like 3 times, and then it really sinks in.
Yeah, C.A. Spurgeon wrote a lot like that.
Yeah, Spurgeon, same thing.
Yeah. Let me see. I'm watching the show on another channel, but I wanted to say hi. All right.
So you jumped over Octagon up there a little ways.
Oh, okay.
Question that I can answer.
Oh, okay.
I'm happy to answer.
All right. What's Unconditional Shove about? All I know is anthology, and it's dark. Yep.
Well, you summed it up really well. Next question.
Okay. Fair enough. There we go.
No, it's definitely a anthology. It's sci-fi horror.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, like I said, I won a short story contest, and that's always been my interest. I've never liked novels, the overly descriptive nature of them, the long-winded descriptions. I'm like, I always think, like, let my imagination do some work, and that's what I loved about short stories was you have to fill in a lot of blanks. But people are creative enough most of the time to do that, as long as you write it well. And all of the anthology stories are short stories. I mean, comic books in general kind of lean towards short stories as far as story arcs, etc. But being a fan of older anthology comics, but also just the television shows, especially Twilight Zone. I could watch every episode of that over and over, never get tired of it. And so that's kind of what I wanted to create. There's this, I don't know, oftentimes like a didactic message, comes across, or, kind of a Aesop's moral. And I like that. I like the little twist.
To Serve Man is a cookbook.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, the cookbook one is great. I mean, all the classics, they have that moment at the end where you're like, okay, I've been following along just to get to that burn, that reveal. And, it's your own kind of like detective game of what the hell is it going to be,
Right.
Once you know that that's the trick they're going to pull every time. But I dug that. I really always appreciate it. So Unconditional Shove is going to be in that vein, probably a little more on the horror side than Twilight Zone.
Yeah. Well, you've got a scarecrow, so very few stories told with a scarecrow and
are friendly.
Friendly. Yeah. So there you go. Your scarecrow is pretty.
Well, this one is friendly.
Creepy, so.
It's called. Perfect. I did it right then. But the story itself. So there's 2 stories. The first one's called Monsters Exist. That's the one people have seen lots of imagery for, because that one's basically wrapped up as far as the artwork and story. And then the secondary one that revolves around the scarecrow is called With Friends Like These.
Right.
And he is actually a friendly scarecrow in a certain sense.
Right.
But definitely not going to be friendly in another sense. Without revealing too much. But Monsters Exist. I'll give a quick rundown. Is just there's basically outside forces trying to break into the what we call the real world, the natural world, and they're trying to do that and invade through the dreams of some young people. And as these young people are having these nightmares, it becomes evident that they are going to break through and become personifications through the young people. So the plan is to battle those through VR technology, actually going into the dreams and fighting them and head them off at the pass, as it were, before they.
You might have seen Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2.
I might have seen all of them, but I actually feel it draws heavily on number 3.
Right.
And you'll see there's kind of like the reveal, the big moment at the end. You'll see, but yeah, Dream Warriors is a little more along that line. But
I meant 3. I'm sorry.
Okay, that makes sense.
I have completely totally shut 2 out of my mind so far that I always call it.
2 is great. It's 4 that most people went off the rails.
It wasn't a Nightmare on Elm Street movie though. It was something else. Yeah. It's kind of like Halloween 3. Nobody knows.
Oh yeah, Halloween 3 had nothing to do with Mike Myers, right?
No.
But it's still a good movie.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. We got some bows in here. What's up, guys?
Bow.
Anyway, Crack Pack, shut up. Favorite Mark Twain quote is "Women ain't nothing but hoes and tricks." Yeah, I'm gonna call that fake news. Yeah. I don't think I was Mark Twain. I think that was I think I was Tupac Shakur. Yeah. Anyway,
it was Gandhi. I don't know. One of those
Gandhi. Yeah, maybe Gandhi.
Those are some famous guys.
All right, gonna head out. Great stream. All right, thank you, Aaron.
Good night, Aaron.
Thank you for coming. Anyway, so original Twilight Zone still largely unmatched in my opinion. I agree with that. I agree with that. Most of them were like, what is his name? The guy, he's one of the best writers of all time. He's written most of our pop culture, in that era. His name escapes me, but he wrote like The Duel, and several other like short stories like that. I gotta look him up. I can't not reference him. This won't take long at all.
Shadowpunk says Ray Bradbury. Is that it?
No, not Ray Bradbury, but he's a contemporary of this guy.
Is definitely one of them.
Oh,
and once you say his name, definitely. I'll go, oh yeah. Mo says, I think that quote about women was from a friend of Mark Twain's named Samuel Clemens.
Yeah, they call him the Longhorn. There you go. Anyway. Let's see.
Oh, maybe that's it. Richard Matheson.
Matheson. I knew it started with I knew it started with an M, but Richard Matheson. But he wrote like I Am Legend and Hell House and all this other stuff. But one thing about Matheson though is he would write things, and everybody that once you read it, you're like, why didn't I write this?
Yeah.
And it was he always seemed to like.
So good. Yeah.
He always seemed to like come up with the story that people were like, holy crap, I could have wrote this. Why didn't I write this? And it felt like something that came organically from your brain when you read it. And he was the one that wrote it,
Well, and that's the masterful thing too, is that, that it's so good that you almost could see yourself coming up with a concept and wishing you could. Yeah.
Right. It was like you put it so far down on the bottom shelf that it's so accessible to you that it felt like it came from you,
Well, and I think that's the objective with short stories more than novels, is that I mean, they're so connected to the reader because you are filling in the blanks so much.
Right.
So it's definitely a different trick. You're not using not necessarily true, but you're not describing the landscape with as many words. You're not going to spend several pages talking about the scenery. And I always got bogged down with that in novels.
Right.
Maybe I'm just impatient. Who knows?
Well, I don't know. I've always thought that Stephen King was a better short story novella writer than he ever was a novel writer.
I agree.
But he has some incredible short stories, and especially like his early days when he's like writing for the men skin magazines, stuff like that,
Right.
which was the only place you could get published back then. But yeah, but think about it is though. One thing I think you can learn from Matheson, and especially in the Twilight Zone episodes, that's the reason why they really resonate with people.
Yeah.
Is there are like themes that are common to man. There are like fears that are common to man. There are like underlying currents that all people feel, And if you can tap into that and put that into your work, and I think when I look at your Unconditional Shove, I see a lot of like visceral, like you've got a lot of emotion in your horror, and I sometimes horror can become so like I guess like removed from
or like dreary and so drab and hopeless,
right?
That and some people like that, and I can see why it's horror.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have a certain element of that to create a good story, but it almost seems like there's not going to be any way out of the hope, even when they wrap it up and they go. But I think aesthetically, horror art sometimes portrays that so much that it's hard to look at. I want to keep the element of fun. I'm definitely a fan of 80s horror that had. It didn't even have to be tongue in cheek. It just was fun.
Yeah. Right.
Like horror is crazy and it should be scary. It should be intense.
Yeah.
But if you lose that element of like kind of fun, and that draws on like the characters actually being connected to humanity, I think we have to have a little bit of hope, even if it's a hopeless situation,
Right.
But all character writing is that you could put. So just real quick, I was thinking of this. I watched this the other night. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Movies. The Outsiders. Got all these Brat Pack dudes in it and famous guys. But as I was watching it, I was like, I felt like I could relate to every single character.
Yeah.
And they're all uniquely different in this story, and their part to play. But I was like, oh yeah, I've been there. And I think that again is that trick of tapping into something that feels that everyone can relate to,
Well, the important thing is even if you haven't been there, you have to feel like you could be there.
Right.
And that's really hard to do. Okay, Richard Matheson's son wrote one screenplay, but it was pretty good. 3 O'Clock High.
Now, is that true? Sometimes I never know if Mo's like.
I don't know. It may be. Casey Sebastian.
I liked 3 O'Clock High. That was fun.
Yeah, it was this one pretty formulaic though. Those writers are the worst. They make you feel like you could have written it even if you couldn't. Yeah.
Well, definitely. I think like if I could write like Richard Matheson, I definitely would be, and I'm definitely gonna try. We'll just say that.
Got to go. Have a good day, gentlemen. Odin, always a pleasure having you on any stream. Hey, see you, Andy.
Good to see you, Andy.
Broken Stephen King is the fan of Danny F. Stephen King. So.
People have some strong opinions about Stephen King. It's
yeah. Stephen King so entrenched himself in fiction they can no longer distinguish it from reality.
He became a character in his own book, right?
I'll agree with that. So, it's true, Odin.
It's true. Okay.
Well, whatever that was.
I don't know if he was a disappointment to his father. I think he was talking about Richard Matheson's son writing 3 O'Clock High.
I don't know. You're the puss that bled. I have no idea what that is. No idea what that is.
That's a hardcore comment.
Name is Richard Christian Matheson. Okay.
Interesting.
Okay. All right. Anyway, but yeah, I guess it all comes down to it. No matter how fantastical what you do looks, you've got to like have some investment in it. It's got to feel like either you like the characters or you like rooting for people to like survive. Which I've seen a lot of that where I didn't care if those people survived or not, and so it just didn't matter to me.
Well, sometimes you want them to not, and maybe that's the trick of horror movies is they're not going to survive, and you don't want them to.
Well, I mean, you always have the final girl you want to survive, and she's
there's
like,
usually you've got to have one character that you really holding out hope for, and then they start getting like thinking they were playing, being clever, and they would kill the character that y'all liked, and then leave the other ones alive, and you're like, why the hell did you do that to me?
Right, exactly. So what Shadowpunk said was a line from 3 O'Clock High. Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right, well,
I got to go back and watch that classic.
Sorry, it's just I'm not really the big Casey Sabesco fan, so you have to excuse me. Anyway, it's funny though.
Show this.
But
this one here, that's a big fatty.
Oh wow!
Art of the short story.
Mm-hmm.
Really, the art of it is only this much of it.
Oh really?
Yeah. This is all just short stories, and then they go, here's how to write a short story.
Oh,
that's still one of my favorites.
On writing for Stephen King is the best book on writing. I'll say for many.
Well, that's high praise.
Yeah. If you haven't read it, just read it. Because he not only gives he kind of gives his like early days and stuff like that. Before he became a raving nutcase, evidently. Money was not good to him, but anyway. Right. But I mean, he's, stuff like he doesn't even remember writing Cujo. He was so coked up. I mean, things like that. You don't remember writing Cujo, okay?
Yeah. His dog ate his homework.
Yeah, exactly. But when he gets into nuts and bolts, it's like the difference between finding out. It's the difference between the engineer and mechanic. A lot of when you read writing how tos, it feels like an engineer wrote it, but his like there's nuts and bolts, so you can throw that out. This is what's important. This is so I recommend it to everybody. But he was on a lot of Vicodin when he wrote that thing, so I think it suppressed his stupidity and
from somebody who's always been a fan of rock and roll and music, like you take away the drugs, I mean, you're probably taking away 90% of the best music. So
all right, okay,
who knows? I'm not advocating for drug use. I'm just saying that for some reason people tend to tap into something.
There's definitely
a lot of writers. So
right. Well, I mean, there's a lot of things out there that people say, well, unless you can, like ergot poisoning, a lot of people think Lovecraft was like tripping when he wrote a lot of what he wrote, because he's tripping on ergot,
Right. Whether he was literally or not, he was definitely tripping.
Yeah, so he was taking people to a different place.
So he's a big inspiration for sure, especially with the monster stuff.
I am do drugs. Okay, all right. I got you. Yeah. Anyway, but think about this though is there's a lot of ways to access that that don't involve drugs. If you like do meditation, you
life experience.
Experience, yeah.
Like if you lived a boring life, you're probably not going to be a very good writer.
No.
I mean, how are you going to tap into these crazy experiences?
Well, even if you don't like experience stuff for yourself, reading makes up for that.
Reading is a huge thing. You gotta read a lot.
If you read a lot, it makes up for like lack of life experiences because I read so extensively most of my life that I'm able to sit down and like talk with people about things, and they're like, okay. Did you go there?
Yeah,
no, I've never been there. Or did you ever do that? No. It's like, how do you even know
I went
this?
there with Sam Clemens one time.
Right. Exactly.
Well, and I was thinking about like the storytelling thing. Like you can take a boring story, but a good storyteller all of a sudden makes it interesting. That's like your uncle at the one who tells the crazy stories.
Norm Macdonald. Yeah.
Norm Macdonald. Everybody's like glued because they know they're master storytellers.
Well, Dennis Miller gave him a real compliment one time. He's like, I don't even care where this is going.
Right.
I'm there for the ride.
You tell me the story, I am listening.
I don't care.
And he did that on Conan O'Brien all the time, where he was like, specifically, he had that basically what's the term I forget now, where the ending is just so non sequitur. You know, it was like, I'm going to tell this great story with a punchline, but the punchline's a non sequitur. It's just stupid, or it's just a dad joke, but it was a long story to get there. And you love the fact that you went on the journey. But that's again good storytelling, and take a bad story and make it fun and interesting. Whereas somebody could take like a really amazing experience, try to relate it. Now I'm horrible at it verbally. I know when I like try to tell a story, I'm like, it sucks. Maybe not horrible at it, but I'm not the best. I can do much better writing it down. But some people, man, especially verbally, you just get a little crowd around them and they're telling a story and everybody's glued, laughing their ass off. You know, it's great.
Yeah, and you know it's bullshit a lot of times. It doesn't matter.
Oftentimes I'm sitting there listening and I was involved and I'm like, well, that's an embellishment.
that's not how that happened, but go keep going.
Slight embellishment. The only time I'll jump in is if it involves me and they're like, and then Odin was over there. I'm like, fuck, no, I wasn't doing that. I don't know what you're talking about.
Don't include me in this, you know.
I go, let me tell the real story.
Hell, fellas, what's happening there, JoJo?
Yeah, Odin is an
amazing artist. All right. There you go.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Compliment. Hell, Mo to my mojo. There you go. What is drugs? Yeah, he does. Yeah, okay. You brew beer, man.
Beer's not a drug.
We're not buying it. Whiskey. Whiskey is a great gateway to writing well.
That's my one. Yeah, I do drink beer and whiskey. I just don't do any illegal drugs. I guess we'll put it.
Right. But not shrooms, because that apparently destroys storytelling ability. I have no idea what that's even referring.
I think he's referencing James's
legend. Oh, okay. Just my ability to speak.
He was telling a story, basically what I was just talking about. Telling a great story, and James can write a great story, but he was telling this story and Mo was going to sleep in the chat. Because it was long and didn't really go anywhere. And it involves streams.
It doesn't matter. That's why 80s Made is so fun to watch, because you just, you got a bunch of storytellers.
Train wreck is just as fun. It's just like the Norm Macdonald thing. We don't have to go anywhere, but it's just fun getting there.
Right. 80s does that. I mean, how many times has he just like told a story and he's just like endlessly keeps going and keeps going.
Well, yeah.
He digresses a lot. He digresses
a lot, as we all do. But especially when you get more panel members on there, it keeps it in check, because nobody can go on too big of a rant. Right, they're being talked over.
So, if you had any like a suggestion or like I guess advice for people that write writing advice, what's your favorite writing advice you give out?
I think authenticity. I think that, and then that's the soul writing advice I give. Like, don't try to be something you're not.
Right.
Know what you dig, and stay there. Don't try to like write a mystery if you don't really care for them, I guess.
Right.
But the technical stuff would be let other people read what you write. You've got to have somebody else look at it. And if it's good, it's good. But like, how are you ever going to know? And if you're doing it to make money or something, speaking in the comic book realm, where you're going to be throwing your ass out there and hopefully getting people to like it or not like it, and most people will give you the honest criticism they're not going to be douchebags about it. Hopefully, I think most people aren't going to be. They're actually going to try to get the best out of you. So they'll give you a point. Now, if it's just a hot mess, somebody has to tell you. So
well, I mean, we have a guy in our community that he kept like shopping his book around everybody. He's like, hey, tell give me, let me know what you think. Right. And when you told him what you think, he'd like, it's like, oh, okay, well, that's your opinion,
Right.
Why did you even ask me?
Well, there's an element of that's true. Like, like you I think this is the same with advice from anybody on any subject. That's why we have a digestive system. You take in the good, take in the nutrients, and you shit out the rest. But that said, nobody's advice is without nutrient.
Right.
they're going to tell you something that you should glean from it.
Yeah, I learned even from the trolls people. You know, I was like, what did they think was a vulnerability? You know,
there's an element of truth there.
Yeah, there's an element of truth there, right? He says, just my ability to speak, Bo.
It did affect that.
And by the way, you are wearing Magnificent Bastards.
I am.
So there you go.
Magnificent Bastards got big Broken Compass Comics logo on the back. So just to shill a bit, we do have the website up and the store up. You know, we got shirts and stuff and more stuff coming.
That was in the package you gave me, right? The link package.
Yeah. Sorry, I was like, oh, I'm
so they'll be in the description.
Sorry, I didn't mail that out.
Below, so there you go.
Yeah. The Broken Compass website's there. Obviously, a link to Unconditional Shove sign up page.
Right.
You know, which we'll go live with the campaign on. I want to do it on Halloween.
Okay.
I think that'd be the funnest and most appropriate. But there's a lot going on Halloween. Maybe not. So it'll be on or around Halloween.
Okay.
But the sign up is up now, and there are perks to signing up if you back. Obviously, try to do that. But we've been getting pretty good response so far, and I'm really excited to get this going and eventually get this comic into people's hands.
Well, I'm glad I checked today because I wasn't signed up, so you know I fixed that. But,
no, you fixed it. It's good.
I fixed it.
It's okay.
It's funny because I kept telling Aaron for about a year. I was like, "Oh man, I can't wait to get my comic," you know. And then he's like, "Wait a second, you're not on the list." And I was like, "I'm not on the list," because evidently I backed him at Kickstarter, but I didn't fill out the backer kit correctly, and it kicked it back out.
Oh yeah,
and
they make it like a little harder than it should be, because I know with Indiegogo you get the email, but then you have to confirm it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, get the email and they're like, "Oh, hey, I saw the email. That means I'm on the list," and they don't even read it. I did that so many times. So the same thing happened to me. But,
so I did. I was like, I guess I'm going to have to go get it next time, man. But but he looked through his entire thing. He's like, it must be here somewhere, because I've been telling him. I've been telling him for a year. I was like, yeah, I backed your book, man. I backed your book, and no, I didn't back his book. So it is what it is. But
full confidence. You weren't lying. You were just ignorant.
No. That's the way it is sometimes.
Yeah.
Let's see. Mo says there's some dude I backed on IGG. He used the backer kit. It was a frustrating experience that I hope isn't repeated. Yeah,
I get that. I try to make. I really do want to make everything as easy as possible.
Hello, Andrew Wyatt. What's good, everybody? Hey, you're here for the end, man. We're kind of wrapping it up a little bit. So anyway, this has been Odin Dasko, your friendly neighborhood Odin. He's got a channel. It's also in the description. And oh, by the way, if you're viewing on another channel, because I'm doing simulcasting, the link to my channel is all the way is pinned at the top, so you'll have to be on my channel to see the link package and everything. And while you're there, please like and subscribe.
For sure.
There you go.
Everybody should do that anyway. Everybody who's been in here tonight, if you didn't like, what kind of crazy bastard are you?
Yeah, I'm serious. Anyway.
Just do it.
Odin, king of the gods. Yeah, not the same Odin, but pretty close.
I'm a simple man. Do not worship me.
Anyway, evidently his parents were really into Norse mythology.
Well, one of them was. My dad got to pick Odin. My mom picked Thomas for my middle name. So.
Okay.
Most of my younger years, I went by Tommy because my mom. And then my dad was the only one who called me Odin. Not to bring it down, but he recently passed away, and that's when I really took the mantle. Like, okay, I'm just going by Odin now. It's the name my father gave me, and in his honor. So
did not hurt you as a rock star, though. I'm sure.
No, it definitely sends. Well, also like I'm a pretty tall man, so
right.
The stature thing with the name, it definitely helped in the metal world. So
yeah. There you go. Especially if you did the long hair thing. Did you ever do the long hair thing?
The long hair, the beard.
Right.
It can be pretty intimidating on stage.
There you go.
Which was the whole point. Yeah.
Especially if you're like, anyway.
Oh yeah, I'm just screaming in people's heads, sonically taking over the entire venue, screaming at the top of my lungs and jumping around like a madman. Yeah. That was
there
all
you go. There you go. It's
people loved it.
It's called branding. It's called branding.
It is. It's called persona too.
Persona, right?
Yeah.
Right. There you go. Anyway, it's been a pleasure having you on, Odin. I hope you managed to get everything said that you needed to say. Is there anything you've not said yet that you need to get out?
Not particularly. Do want to say that it's been a pleasure, man.
Okay.
Always enjoy hanging out with you and talking, chewing the fat, doing whatever. So yeah, thank you for having me on. Thank you to everybody who showed up and listened, and everybody in the chat. You guys are the best. And also, just real quick plug that we'll be on. We talked about it earlier, on 80s Made tonight.
80s Made tonight
Eastern. Yep. It'll be typical shenanigans, but it's fun, and we definitely make the chat part of the fun. So if you want to come and talk crap, like you're more than welcome.
I will highly suggest that you check out 80s Made Consumers channel because these guys get going. There's nothing like it in CG.
That's true.
I mean, I've seen Jack Show, I've seen the Ballers, I've seen Professionals and everything. I mean, I've seen these shows where all these people come together on these panels, and you guys have a chemistry that's just it's just something else. Something else. Well, it's like a mad scientist lab, basically. You don't know what's gonna come off the slab at any period of time, especially with James. And
James really really added to that element. Because it was a little more tame before. We would still, get crazy and stuff. But once he came in, he came in one night to pitch his book. He never left.
Never left. Yeah.
He never left. He's
sometimes,
like, you guys are fun. I'm sticking
sometimes they follow you home. It's just it is what it is.
Yeah. I just hate having to feed and walk him and all that stuff.
become a member of the family. There you go.
Yeah. It's too late now.
Everybody needs a retarded little brother. So there you go.
There you go.
Anyway, hashtag leap. There you go.
Hashtag leaped. So yeah, join us there. And then other than that, just thank you for having me on. It was a good conversation. I enjoyed hanging out.
All right, no problem. Anyway, thank you to the fluffiest chat and all of YouTube for showing up tonight. Like and subscribe if you haven't. And that's all we got for the night. So y'all have a good evening.
Right. See y'all later.
And let me get this going. All right.